Good evening and welcome to our Gnostic Lab for practical application. On Tuesday, our topic was the awakening of the consciousness, and we learned about the four states of consciousness: the sleeping state, ikasia, the vigil state, pistis, the state of auto-consciousness, dianoia, and the superior state of consciousness of the masters, nous. We learned that we are in the state of pistis, and that to move into the state of auto-consciousness, we can apply the key of SOL. Hopefully, we all have been very active putting that into practice this week. And tonight, our practice will show us how to reap the benefits from the practice of the key of SOL. Are you awake? It is impossible to make a change if we already believe we are good people. Our first step must be the acknowledgement that we live in a very lamentable state of constant daydreaming and in a deep sleep of consciousness. This is from the secret teachings of the Popol Vuh. We first have to acknowledge our current state. We have to recognize our daydreaming, our fascination with ideas, emotions, with the physical environment. Many of us are like hungry ghosts, looking for energy in that cup of coffee or some kind of stimulation that makes us feel good and energetic, such as watching your favorite TV show, playing video games, or listening to that music that hypnotizes us. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with these activities. I'm just saying that if you do them consciously and ask yourself, what is the result? What does it produce? If you don't like the result, then choose new actions that create new results. It's very simple to break from the cycles once we determine if it's aligned to our objective. If your objective is to awaken the consciousness, then we have to engage consciously in activities and choose wisely how we use our energy from moment to moment in order to produce those results. Humbleness is the door to reach wisdom, and once reached, we then have to become even more humble. As long as we are rich, it would be impossible for us to walk into the kingdom of heaven, the superior states of consciousness. And we are rich in theories, concepts, prides, vanities, self-importance, and self-sufficiency. If we would like to awaken our consciousness, we have to be humble in order to receive wisdom about ourselves. When we are humble, we can see ourselves as we are, and from that state, we can make changes and put an end to those weaknesses that cause us and others suffering. There's no other way to awaken, only through comprehending our errors, our defects, and invoking our Divine Mother Kundalini to destroy them and transform it into virtue, into right action, can we then experience the awakening of the consciousness. So be honest with yourself about your current state. The moment we reach the conclusion that everyone wanders through life while asleep is when we start comprehending the need to awaken. When you are asleep, that means you are conditioned by the ego, by your desires. You're not present and you're hypnotized and fascinated. When you truly comprehend the result of that egoic action, you'll never want to do it again. We must exercise our willpower and concentration and break from these harmful cycles that produce suffering for ourselves and for others. We would like to share an example with you. A close friend of mine decided to try an orange juice cleanse to give their digestive system a break from processing food. During the first 24 hours, their body began to rebel and they had a very bad headache. In that experience, to their surprise, they discovered that their physical body had developed an addiction to coffee, but they were not aware of it until they began this orange juice detox and observed the bodily response. Through meditation and comprehension of this effect, they arrived at the conclusion that the only dependency they should have is on their being, not on anything else. When they ended the detox and tried coffee again, it did not taste the same to them. In fact, they completely stopped drinking it. It had no power over them anymore because they comprehended the cause and modified it. In other words, they stole the power away from the defect and redirected it. You see, it's not that the coffee was the problem, but the psychological attachments to the coffee that was creating harm. Those defects condition the consciousness. The defects of attachments can never be satisfied. It is better to put an end to them now and break those cycles that result in the sleep of the consciousness. So behold how difficult it is to remain with the consciousness awake from instant to instant, from moment to moment. However, if one has true longings for becoming fully awakened, which is the beginning, then we must not forget oneself, not even for a moment. Remember yourself when you are in your home, while listening to this lecture, when you go out for a walk or a run, or while you're driving your car. Break that mechanicity, that spell that you usually fall under when you do these mundane activities. The training is your life, not when you sit down to do a practice for 30 minutes. Now, whether it be night or day, rain or shine, continually train your mind to be engaged with what you're doing and where you are. Do not become captivated or enchanted, and always remember your being. So with this key, the Master Samael Onvior recommends that we divide our attention into 3 parts: subject, object, and location. The subject is oneself. We must not forget ourselves, not even for an instant. We also need to be aware of our thoughts, sentiments, emotions, our longings, our fears. The object is the impression that is perceived by the senses of the body. The object is related with becoming inquisitive about objects. That is, not becoming identified with things or what is in front of you. If you see something beautiful, like a very nice car or those beautiful high heel shoes or a flower, what is important is you do not become identified with it. You do not marvel and fascinate. If you do, then one's own consciousness falls asleep profoundly. And lastly, the location is where you are. So ask yourself, why am I here in this place? Where am I? Become aware of where you are. We have a tendency to forget, especially if it's in the comfort of your own home. Have you ever arranged your furniture and when you walked into the room, it felt like a bit of a surprise because it was not what you expected? It's not the same as it usually is. We should look at our environment like it is a new experience every time and never get complacent with our attention. Also, you can ask yourself, am I in the astral body? And perform that jump to see if you float. The Master Samael also says that if you do not float, but you still feel like you are in the astral body, then go stand on top of a chair or a low table and jump in the air with the intention of floating. He says sometimes the best solution is to go and stand on something that allows you to jump in the air in order to hover in the environment. If you remain floating, then you know that you're in the astral world. So now for our practice. So the objective of this practice is to do an exercise of retrospection. so that we can acquire information and comprehend our errors and eliminate them with the help of our Divine Mother. We're going to start off by relaxing the body. So everyone, assume a comfortable posture with your spine straight and relaxed. Now let's take a deep breath in through your nose on 1. Hold it. Exhale out of your mouth on 2. 2. Inhale 1. 2. Now with every exhalation, release any tensions you may be holding. Inhale 1. 2. To relax the body, let's start off by bringing our attention to our toes. Imagine little gnomes exiting out of the soles of your feet. And as they leave your feet, become more relaxed. Now relax the ankles. The calves. The knees. The thighs. Now imagine all those gnomes moving down your legs, from your hips down, and exiting out your feet. And as they do it, relax your legs completely. Now bring your attention to your abdomen. And the lower back. The chest. The heart. And the lungs. Release all the tension in your upper back and in your shoulders. Observe the gentle relaxation as you consciously focus on your attention in these areas and release any stored tension. Release the tension in your biceps and triceps. In the elbows. And forearms. And all the way to your fingertips. Observe all those little gnomes leaving your body. And as they leave, those muscles, that tension melts away. Now bring your attention to your neck. Relax the jaw. And all the muscles on your face. Your tongue. your eyes and your eyelids. The forehead, and now the top of your head. Take a deep breath in through your nose on 1. Release all the tension, 2. Breathe in 1. 2. Last time. Breathe in 1. Relax more in 2. Now we invoke the innermost. Father of mine, Lord of mine, my true being, please give us the faculty of objective imagination so that we can see clearly. We also ask for the faculty of intuition so that we can comprehend the significance of what we see. Father, also fill us with inspiration so that we can behold the spiritual reality of what we're seeing. Guide us in this practice. Assist us. So remember to embrace the principle of spontaneity, that feeling of reception. Allow yourself to receive without any judgments, convictions, thoughts. Now we will begin the retrospection exercise and allow the consciousness to show you the events of the day in reverse order, as if you are an observer just watching a movie, with no grasping, no attachments to what you see. You're just observing. We begin now. Now let's choose an event that stands out from the day. Revisit that event and observe the way your thoughts were affected, the emotions and the behavior at the time of the incident. View it with no judgment, no attachment, and just observe how the presence of this aggregate took away your creative power. Now observe how the event would change if that aggregate was replaced with the right action and virtue. We invoke our Divine Mother and beg of her to eliminate this defect that we've comprehended. Divine Mother, we're here humbly at your presence, asking and begging of you to reduce this defect, the cosmic dust. We're going to do the mantra Inri 3 times, and we're going to imagine the defect being burned up by bright light like fire. In thank you, Divine Mother and Holy Father, for all the help you have given us. May all this materialize and may it crystallize according to the great law and the universal charity, and by the most holy Tetragrammaton. Aum 3 times to close the practice. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Remember to do your retrospection every morning and when you wake up and every evening. We wish you all much success in your spiritual practice. May all beings be happy, joyful, and at peace.